Bonafide Hustler here, and I think it's time for story time. What's going on, guys and gals? Chris the Bonafide Hustler coming to you live from the inside of my garage. And it's looking a little bit better in here. I'm working on it, getting a studio built and everything. So let me know. I know it's probably overexposed with these lights and everything, but you know, still trying new things. I'm always trying new things. That's what life is all about. New experiences. Always try to make it look better on film. So anyway, story time. I want to kind of shed some light on where I've come from and why I'm here, and also my track record and really like what I have accomplished. It comes to my attention that in YouTube land, there might be some misconceptions about me, my actions, and my credibility, really, right? So let's talk about that. So 11 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago, I was starting to hustle, and it was a part-time thing when I had a really good paying corporate job. So I was about 11, I lose count, right? 11 to 12 years ago. And it started with bicycles. So if you read my publication, Flip That You Know What, the very first chapter talks about me walking into that Goodwill and on the outside seeing that one bike, and I flipped it a couple days later. So that's how the story of how the Bonafide Hustler was born. But before all of that, I used to always be in my mindset was always different. Like it was always, be fair to everybody possible. So when I was in college, I was meeting, I was hanging out with, jocks and like nerdy people and gamers and all these kind of people. I never sought to just stick with one type of group. I always found an immense amount of information and beauty within all groups. I thought it was fascinating, the stories and the experiences I got to experience from all the groups that I hung out with in college. So I went to University of Texas. At the time I graduated, 55,000 people. It was a very big college. We're talking fraternities, sororities, all the crazy stuff you see in movies, all that kind of stuff. And that was one of the things. I was always a make friends with everybody kind of person. And that has never changed in my life. But back in college, I was trying all kinds of new things. I was getting all my experiences out of the way. And that was one of the things that led me into, I believe, working at an audio-video store. It's called Circuit City, which is not in business anymore. But it was in business, and I was working there, and I was making a really good amount of money for college, which was like my junior or senior year, maybe both years. I was working at Circuit City making $40K a year, working like 30 hours a week. So, and mind you, a majority of that money actually occurred in the Christmas season as well. So, extremely lucrative kind of job for a college person if you think about it. And at that job, that's where I met the boss of the company that I would work for after college. So helped her out with a DVD and I think a TV combo or whatever, and she liked the way I sold things, and she saw a crazy amount of talent within me. And so months later I was on a panel interview on a big hotel down here in Austin, Texas, and I got the position. So I worked that job for about 9 years, 8.5, 9 years, something like that. And at the tail end of that job is when, my book kind of started. It's where I started hustling, experimenting with things, because the corporate lifestyle, oh man, it's so fun, and it was just the amount of people you meet and everything was just, I don't know, I would never give it up for anything. But inside I got hungry, and I was hungry for change, and I was always trying to change. But the ways I was trying to change weren't the right ways. I was just buying random stuff and buying cool cars and buying a boat and like wakeboarding 2 summers in a row, just going crazy and just spending the money that I was making. And it wasn't adding to my internal happiness whatsoever. It was just taking care. It was like putting a Band-Aid on a gigantic wound, right? The wound never heals. It still needs something bigger applied to it. So then I decided to address that, because there were some times where I was working with my boss in that job, and he would notice that I was extremely stressed out. And although I never really told him exactly why, inside I felt as if I was dying. I felt as if I sat there and I extrapolated the amount of money I would make in that job over 20 or 30 more years, and I thought, it's not exactly the way I want to go out, right? And there was a sense of like, I got to be more prideful in what I do and this and that. So I decided to leave, and I became a stock trader, which worked out marginally well. I wouldn't even say that. It did not work out well at all. the way I was trading prior to becoming the stock trader actually was working out really well. But when I get into the day trading aspect, we're talking like investing into stocks within like minutes and seconds kind of stuff. So that's the kind of thing where I don't know if my personality was really quite cut out for it. But it was the first time in my life after college where I didn't have a boss, right? I was my own boss. And I got to experience, you know, the battles that we have working for ourselves. And I wasn't even an entrepreneur back then. I was still a part-time hustler. But I was doing everything in my possible control to become a really good trader, and it just wasn't working out. So day trading really was not for me. I learned that. I left that, I think, 1.5 years, 2 years later. Then I became an insurance agent, which, boy, I mean, that was kind of fun too. But then about 1.5 years of that, I was like, there's no way there's no way I'm my own boss in this job, even though that's the way they pitch it to you. Because in reality, you know, the company can raise rates and lower rates, but when any of that happens, your clientele base just changes rapidly. So you're really never in control on that one. And I was still truly kind of working for myself, but I really wasn't. So still battling out all the stuff there, and I was part-time hustling through that. And then about 2, maybe 3 years ago, I went full-time. So, and then somewhere in like 4, 5 years ago, I got the antique booth. So things started coming into play. And mind you, in the past 11, 12 years, I mean, I've hustled a lot of things, and every year that I've been hustling, I've made more money than the year before. So hustling is absolutely one of the things that I'm most proud about right now. Absolutely. I mean, I can do it effortlessly. I can do it from any coastline in America. I can do it anywhere, and it just seems to be a crazy skill that I have. And that's the reason why I started my channel. And why did I even create Bonafide Hustler? The Bonafide Hustler channel was created primarily to help people out, and it still is. But there's always that fine line, like where does it look like help, or is he really helping people out, or is he trying to sell some of his stuff, you know? So let's go over that. When I started the channel out, it was geared to help a bunch of people, right? And then I started getting all these questions, like, and I was answering a lot of the same questions, like over and over and over and over and over again. And I was just like, all right, you know, sometimes the group has to be led, right? That's the way I kind of looked at it. I was like, what can I do to lead the group into the direction and to save them and not have them burn up, you know, 7 or 8 years of their life? Because when I created the first book, it was, I think, 9 years into my professional career as a hustler, or as a hustler. And then I basically said, I don't want people to waste 9 years, you know, like that'd suck. That would, if there was something 11 years ago that I could have picked up and read, or something that would have got me into the entire ways of, you know, how to do it, I would have certainly picked that up and made less mistakes, and that would have been the way to go. You know, Warren Buffett, for example, says definitely make mistakes, but they don't have to be your mistakes. So that was an interesting kind of way to reflect back at it, going, man, there was really nothing back there for me to help me in what I needed to do. But now that I'm 11 years down the road, I can do something about that. I can change that, right? There's no reason why I cannot change that, and why I cannot build like a super hustler like myself in a short amount of time. So that's my goal. And it's always going to be my goal on this channel. So if that goal does not coincide with your goals, that's okay. I mean, you can totally unsub. I have no problem with that. But my channel is not only going to be how to make you a better hustler. There are going to be some free videos, of course. There's going to be a lot of free stuff. I mean, come on. The videos I've started 3 years ago, and they're all free videos. But there are going to be some other things. I might come out with other things, and it's just the way it's going to be. I have to figure out a way to connect with more people. If I know a lot about something and it should be given out, then naturally the only way to really do it is to spend a whole lot of time making one thing, and then that way 2 people are happy. I get rewarded for the time I spent doing that thing. I feel accomplished because I made something, and then the other people sit there and they go, okay, well, I invested 10 here or 20 here, and this guy made me thousands on the back end. Really, life is one big trade. You know, if you can make, the more successful trades you can make back to back to back, the better off you're going to be. And trades occur every single day. They might not actually be monetary trades. They could be time trades. There's so many ways to trade things for other things of greater value. One of the things that you'll never get back is the time spent. So every moment that passes, you can't just go back and get that moment again. You'll never, it just doesn't work like that, right? So if there's any way that I can shave off time for somebody, then I'll do it. And that's the reason why I spent a whole lot of time making the first publication. It's also the reason why after thousands of bikes being sold, I decided to make a bike guide, right? Really, that bike guide could have been made 5-6 years ago when I had probably my first 1,000 sold. But quite honestly, it was the actual people that watched me on YouTube that go, hey, you should make a bike guide. You should, you should, you should. And so I started thinking about that. And I was like, well, that's going to take a lot of time. But I did it, right? And I have that. So, these kind of things that I make are there for people to enjoy should they want to shave the time down. That's all it really is. And the people that I engage with in business are the same way. If I felt like some of the people that I'm in business with right now had some ulterior motive, then obviously the Bonafide hustler would step out of the picture. But they all have good things to give. The people that I partner with have amazing videos on YouTube that are they're basically trying to shave your time off as well. You just got to listen to the video. So there's a lot of things out there that I wanted to clear up, but also I want to let people know that, hustling isn't my only knack in life. It's not like the only thing I'm good at. I'm good at a lot of things. Of course, yeah, starting a fitness channel, doing all the things that I like to do. But you got to level with me on this one. You know that through my videos, my attention span's a little on the shorter side. I do like to enjoy life. It's so important to actually reward yourself if you have a good hustling day, or actually in your entire life, not make your life all about one thing, but rather to experience a lot of things. And any way that you can experience a lot of things is the way I think life really should be. Life shouldn't be, well, I can't do that because I don't have the money to go there, or I can't do that or buy that because I don't have the money to buy it. That's not life. Life is being able to experience anything you want to do, whether it comes down to buying something, going somewhere, or experiencing something. That's what it truly comes down to, I think. If you watch my channel, there's a lot of slapstick comedy in there and acting really goofy and acting stupid, but it's there because life, as I've been taught and as I've experienced it, is much better when you're in that kind of a mood, when you're in an uplifting kind of mood, where you can laugh at things, right? And you can still get the message across to teach. That's what I'm here for. So, like I said, if you don't like it, it's not going to hurt my feelings. But just know that that's where I'm going in the future. And I'm going to be creating those things. And I'm going to be putting more videos on YouTube. And I will be doing the fitness thing. So I can only hope to be motivating in the direction that you want to go. And hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it cleared up some things. And I'll talk to you on the next Bonafide video. You think I'm going to do it or not? Goodbye!